This is a story of hope. There are moments when life feels a bit like midnight, where hope is gone. If you are in your midnight, or maybe even looking for a little spark, I hope this 5-minute story can bring a little sunrise to your midnight sky. And know that though this world can be tough, where love lives, hope always finds a way. 6 months ago, I was stuck, lonely and depressed. But then I made a promise to live with an open heart. I didn't know it then, but that promise would change my life. This is a story of two strangers, one promise, and a journey that led me to Hawaii, where I realized the power of connection and how choosing to love, even when it's terrifying, can transform your life. My name is Angel. I struggle with depression, and I've been trying for years to improve my life. At the start of this year, I set out on a 365-day glow-up challenge. I thought I could transform my life alone. Reading, journaling, working out, keeping to myself, but 6 months in, I realized I was lonely. My solitude wasn't a strength, it was a shield. I told myself I didn't need anyone, but the truth is, I was just scared to let people in. Scared of being seen, scared of being hurt, scared that if people saw the real me, they'd leave. And that fear, it kept me locked in my own little world. I shut myself off from everything, and in doing so, I locked myself in. Then, one evening in July, everything shifted. I was really depressed, so I drove to the beach at sunset and watched the waves crash. And I saw the sky painted in colors that didn't seem real. And the beauty of it all, it reminded me how much I truly wanted to live, to connect, to feel alive. And I felt this ache, a longing for something more. I realized how tired I was of keeping people at arm's length. That night, I made a promise. No more walls. I would live with an open heart, no matter how terrifying it felt. I started to talk to people in the only place I really got to have human interaction, my gym. That's when I met Rachel and John Rad. Rachel was a badass with an eyebrow piercing and was someone I admired from a distance but was too intimidated to approach. And John Rad, he seemed kind. He was a trainer I'd had one session with months ago, but barely spoke to after that. For a long time, they were just strangers at the gym and nothing more. But then I remembered my promise. Live with an open heart. That promise led me to take risks. Tiny ones that felt huge at the time. I added John Rad on Instagram and sent him a silly DM about a weightlifting video he posted on his story. He could have ignored it, but instead it turned into hours of conversation until late into the night. With Rachel, I finally approached her by helping her adjust a gym machine because I saw she had injured her shoulder, which led to these progressively beautiful moments of connection. Little by little, these strangers became my people. Fast forward 6 months and I'm in Honolulu. What started as a small interaction turned into big friendships. Rachel and John Rad invited me to cheer them on as they ran a marathon. These two people who were strangers just months ago, now I can truly call friends. More than I can put in a video, and I mean, here I was, waking up at 2 a.m. to walk them to the starting line, and I'm on the sidelines, overwhelmed with the beauty of it all. I'm not even the one running, and I'm crying. The marathon was inspiring. People pushing their limits, challenging their bodies and minds, strangers cheering for strangers, families and friends holding signs with sleepy eyes at 4 a.m. just to give their loved ones a moment of encouragement. It reminded me how beautiful humanity can be and reminded me how we all need each other. How the smallest acts of support can make a world of difference. I almost saw it as an analogy and lesson on how to love. Love in its purest form. Love that says, I believe in you. When you love someone, you can't run the race for them. But you can hand them water when they're thirsty, provide food when they're hungry, and give them encouraging words when they want to give up, and hug them at the finish line. And that makes a difference. When Rachel and John Rad crossed the finish line, I felt this overwhelming sense of joy. They weren't just running, they were showing me what it means to live boldly, to embrace challenge, and to believe in yourself, and to let others be part of your journey. Rachel and John Rad taught me so much about love and connection. Rachel, with her bravery and authenticity, showed me the beauty of being unapologetically myself. And John Rad, this random trainer dude, became my best friend. He changed my life and my perspective on it. With his steady kindness and quiet strength, he reminded me that real love is patient, consistent, and safe. And that love doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. This trip taught me that we're not meant to do life alone. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the birthplace of connection. Yes, letting people in is scary. Yes, you risk getting hurt. Yes, it's hard to trust someone will stay. When you find the right people, they'll heal the wounds they didn't even create. They'll remind you that even in your darkest moments, you don't have to be alone. So take the risk. Talk to strangers. Let yourself be vulnerable. Life is too short to hold back, because strangers can become the people who change your life, who can lead you on life's biggest adventure. But that all starts with the courage to say hello.